Hello and welcome to the next in my video series on the A to Z of managing people. Today we're on to the letter D, and D is for development. Now when we think about the development of our team, we often associate development as something that's grooming somebody for a promotion or for another position. And if you don't feel that they are capable of that, or they have got no aspirations for that, then we think there's no reason really that we need to develop them. Well, actually, if we don't develop people, it's very easy for them to stagnate in their role. And when people stagnate, they soon get bored, they get a little bit disillusioned, they get itchy feet, or they just sort of becomes lackluster in the role that they are in, which isn't going to wow the business, and it's certainly not going to wow your customers. So even if somebody has absolutely no aspirations whatsoever to move into anything more than the job that they are doing, we still should be looking for opportunities to develop, refine their skills, make continuous improvements. If somebody's been doing the job for 2 years and doing it in exactly the same way, then are there ways in which they can approach that task differently, which gives them that little bit of a spark, but it also brings in a little bit of energy and spark into the task itself. What we also want to be doing is thinking about, we often think about training and development as being something that's always going to just sort of plug people's shortfalls. So we're plugging gaps. Another way of looking at it is thinking about really capitalizing on the things that they are strong on. So capitalizing on their strengths. So if you think about a team, if you think about a football team, for example, if you have got somebody who is really good in goal, you then don't make that person mediocre at everything else. What you do is you really hone their skills as a goalkeeper so that they get really brilliant at being in goal. And then the rest of the team then complements the goalkeeper. And it's the same process in your business, is that you don't want to have everybody be mediocre at everything. Look at where people's strengths are. And when you develop those strengths, 9 times out of 10, the tasks that people are really good at, they enjoy. So it's a bit of a sort of double whammy really. And so everybody gains. Now I know it's not always practical just to hone on the things that they are strong on. And yes, you will have to plug some gaps, but don't be tempted just to have everybody being able to do everything. Having said that, what you do want to do still is to upskill and cross-train people, because you still do want people to be able to plug the gaps when somebody's on holiday or they're off sick. You don't want to be left in the lurch. So it's getting that balance really, to having maybe 2 or 3 people that can perform each task so that you don't get let down. What that does when you do cross-train and upskill your team, it means then that as a team they work better together because they have an understanding of each other's roles, gives you that bit of flexibility. And it also means that there is less of that, oh well that's not really my job, and not supporting one another when somebody is maybe struggling in their role. If there's somebody else that knows that task inside out, then it's a lot easier then for them to come and help them and bail them out. Think also about the amount of time that how you approach people's development, because it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to stick them on a course or stick them on a Zoom program or whatever it might be. That probably 90% of the training you're going to do will be on job. So when you're having reviews with people and you're talking about the tasks that they've done, what's worked well, what hasn't worked well, then that is also a learning opportunity, because if somebody's made a mistake, that is an opportunity for them to learn from that mistake and how they're going to approach it differently next time so that that mistake doesn't happen again. Now, I often hear people saying, oh, well, there's no point in investing in team members because when we develop them, they just go and leave anyway. Well, the other way to look at it is, well, what if you don't train them and they stay? You end up with somebody who is not really particularly good at their job or hasn't really got, it doesn't shine in their role. And so you end up with somebody that's mediocre. And let's be honest, if somebody wants to move on, they're going to move on anyway. And quite often, people moving on is because we haven't invested in their development. Giving the people that opportunity to develop is actually a good reason for people to stay with you. One final thing to consider in relation to development is don't forget your own personal development. So a lot of that will be on job. So it just takes a little bit of time out when you performed a task for the first or second time, if you're still getting to grips with it. if it went well, what did you do, and what can you replicate next time? If it didn't go so well, why was that? What didn't work? Why didn't it work? And what you can do differently next time. Also seek the help of mentors or other people in the business, but don't leave it down to them to plan your development, because the only person really that misses out when you don't get that development is yourself. So make sure that you are managing your own personal development, that you have it planned and you schedule some time out to work on that. And sometimes that's going to be stuff that happens outside of work, maybe reading, maybe thinking about when you're out and about, you know, watching other managers, who are the role models, who are the people that you want to emulate and to be like in your own management role. So D is for development, both for your team members' development, but also your own personal development as well. So that's it from me for today with the letter D. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye for now.